So, and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Athanasian Creed. I believe this is verses 28 through 30. Yeah, sorry, it's extremely windy today. I can't really do anything about that to stop the noise. But one thing it does cover, all of the cows. Can't hear any of the cows. Anyway, let's get started. Last time on the Athanasian Creed. And there we go. Now for the reading. Est ergo fides recta, ut credemus et confiteamur, quod Dominus noster Iesus Christus, Dei Filius, Deus et homo est. Deus ex substantia Patris ante saecula genitus, et homo ex substantia Matris in saeculo natus. Perfectus Deus, perfectus homo, ex anima rationali et humana carne subsistens. And there we have it. So our first word is our verb. We've seen this one before many times. No need to parse it. Ergo, therefore. And then we have fides, which is a fifth declension. So we've got the long E, and that is going to be either a nominative singular, a nominative, or accusative plural. And then we have recta immediately after that with the A. And fides is a feminine word. Recta is from rectus so it's going to be modifying fides, and since this has the A right there as its ending, this means that the fides has to be singular as the feminine endings I, and so on. So this would need to be with est a nominative, singular, and feminine noun and its adjective. So we could translate this as therefore faith is, and then recta means straight, upright, direct, good, or virtuous. So we would say, therefore, faith is upright, and the faith is good, or it is, therefore, the good faith, ut. And I think with est at the beginning, the second translation of it is, a declarative est, if you will, makes more sense than connecting fides with recta, because normally we would expect est to either come between them or after them. But ergo, I think, is a post-positive. No, it doesn't have to be. I don't remember that one, but you can look that up, or I might leave a note if I have time to investigate it myself. But anyway, I'm going to go with the declarative est. So it is therefore, and then we have recta. I was going with good, but we've got different words for good. So let's go with the right. I didn't mention right as one of the options, but right as in the correct, the proper form. The right faith. Then we've got an ut clause here, so we need to take a look at our verbs to figure out if it's just an ut with indicative or it's a purpose or result clause. So with credamus, we have an A right there, and credo, credere is a third declension verb. So that A tells us that this is going to be a subjunctive, a first plural, and it is present tense and is active and subjunctive. To confirm that, we take a look at our second verb, confiteamur. That EA there tells us that this is a second declension, second conjugation. It's been a while since I've had to talk about translating Latin out loud, so sorry for that mistake. It is also subjunctive, so same form there, except that this one with mur is a deponent. So then that tells us that this cannot be just a indicative clause with ut. Instead, it has to be a purpose or a result clause. And I think with this statement beforehand, purpose is the one that makes the most sense. So Okay, it is therefore the right faith for the purpose that, or, yeah, that sounds weird in English. Yeah, I don't know. Just translate that we believe and we confess. All right, those are bleeding into one word, comma. Then we come to the subordinate clause here with quod. Quod could be from qui quae quod, or it could be like the word quia, meaning because. And so we'll need to take a look at what this means by itself before we can really determine what's going on there. So Dominus, US right there for nominative singular and masculine. Noster is also nominative singular masculine adjective. Owning that. So our Lord, Jesus Christus, both of those with the US ending, are also going to be nominative singular and masculine. So we believe and we confess what? Wrong gender to match any of these. Our Lord Jesus Christ. We don't have a verb there, so we're going to need to take a look ahead to find the verb for that. But what doesn't seem to make much sense, since we've got masculine, 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 and quod would have to be neuter if it was from qui quae quod. So it really has to be the form of quod. I think a conjunction? I can never remember what type of word that is, but translating it as because, using it the same way as quia is used. So it might be easier in English to translate it as a that as well, as quia often is. We confess that, or because our Lord we come to Dei Filius. That's just a predicate. No, my brain is going blank. I think a predicate. So Dei Filius, US right there, is just another nominative singular masculine. So Dei would have to be the genitive here. Okay. Son of God. Yep. And then Deus, US again, so nominative singular masculine again, so many of these. Et homo, homo is another nominative singular masculine, which makes sense as we've got est right there, which we're not going to parse. Okay. We believe and confess that our Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, est is, it's going to be another declarative est, which, as I said earlier, we find declarative ests at the beginning of their clause normally, with the connecting the est either between the two things connected or after the two things connected, or at least not at the very beginning of the sentence. But I think instead of that, what we have here is a nice bracketing of this entire thing with the verb begin with est and end with est. So I think that still the declarative makes sense, especially with that conjunction right there. But it's just a beautiful work right there with both of those at either end of the statement. Is God and nope, man, with the really meaning human. Okay, so that ends verse 28, and then we move on. Deus, not going to parse that again. Ex, prepositional phrase, and that's going to take the ablative and its object, which we find with substantia, that A right there. Patris is not going to be part of the prepositional phrase because it's the wrong form. Substantia is, of course, ablative, singular, and feminine. From substance, and then patris, we've got is right there for the genitive singular of the third declension noun. We've got another prepositional phrase, so I'm looking for a verb ante, plus, as we can see from saecula, another ablative. No, it's not ablative, because it's saeculum, saeculi, so no, this is actually plus the accusative. And saecula then has to be the plural and neuter. Genitus is the wrong form for that prepositional phrase, so it ends right there. Before, saeculum means like age or time period. Genitus, we have us here, which initially will look like a nominative singular masculine form. Probably, if it were that form, then it would be from gigno. However, nominative singular masculine doesn't make much sense, because then we'd have to be pairing deus with genitus. and pairing that with born, I suppose it could work. But we have patris here as our example and as a clue, which should tell us that this is not from gigno, but is instead from the noun, the masculine noun, genitus, genitus, a fourth declension. So we have I think, a long U right there for a genitive singular masculine. And that would then mean before the age of his birth. But no possessive pronoun, of course, just implied by the context. So this is another declarative statement. Et is breaking this first one from the second one. And we have no verb in here unless I've misidentified this. So if it is actually from gigno, then we would translate it God from substance of father before age, having been born, having been begotten. But then age is standing by itself, a little peculiar. So then instead what I think we need to do is need to take a look at the next clause and see how it is put together to truly identify whether or not I have this correct. So et homo, no need to parse homo again. Ex, we know, plus the ablative. Substantia, same exact form as that, so pulling that down. Matris, is there for another genitive singular, but this time feminine, of his mother. In prepositional phrase, this one is, we can see, is taking the ablative, singular. And interesting that this one is plural, but this one is singular. So natus, wrong form for that. Singular, neuter. I don't know what the meaning is between singular versus plural. And then natus, us there, could again be a participle adjective modifying deus, or it could be the noun natos, natus. So we have the exact same problem here. Either we've got two participles, or we've got two fourth declension nouns. So I don't really know how to solve this except to take a look at what they would mean as each different form. So treating them first how I have identified them. Genitus is a noun owning psycholo, and then natus also is a noun owning psycholo. We would get, and we're going to need to insert the verb in this case in the form of est. He is God from the substance of the Father before the age of birth, or before the ages of birth, which is weird, and human from the substance of Mary in the age of his birth. Sorry, inserting the prepositional, the pronoun there. Or the other way of translating it, where both of these are participial adjectives. God, having been born from the substance of the Father before the ages, and I think ages actually works a lot more with this being a participle, and human from the substance of Mary in the age having been born. Actually, I just realized that there's of course a third and technically fourth option where one is the noun and one is the adjective. And I think if we had natus as the noun owning psycholo, but genitus as the participle, that would make the most sense of all. Because having been born before the ages referring to the time here on earth, but then singular psychulo with the noun makes a lot more sense in the age of the time when he was born. So yeah, I think that's how I'm going to go. I have misidentified this, and this is actually going to be a nominative, singular, masculine, perfect, and this would be passive, yeah, because gigno, participle. God from the stance of inserted by context his father, begotten God from the substance of his father. I was giving the wrong translation for that earlier. Before, with natus, of course, being the genitive, singular, masculine noun. And that's 29 finished. All right, moving on to 30. Perfectus, us there, nominative, singular, masculine. No need to parse this one again. Perfectus again, Homo again. Ex prepositional phrase plus the ablative. And this is singular and feminine. Anima, animae. Rationali, we have that I there, and this is a third declension adjective, so this goes with anima. Et humana carne. Carne is the correct case to be part of this prepositional phrase, and humana is also the correct case. So, ablative, singular, feminine, ablative. Carnis. No, I didn't write down this one. I might be misremembering. Hang on. Sorry about that. I had gone into this forgetting to look up carne. For the words that I don't have immediately in my mind, I'll look them up and write them down somewhere. But I guess when I was looking at this, the Greek just came to mind. I'm like, I know what that is. But no, actually, I'd forgotten everything I knew about this word. This is actually from caro, carnis, and it is feminine. So humana is actually modifying carne, and of course singular, feminine. So then yes, these two are part of the prepositional phrase, and we end that there. Subsistence, sorry, the light just suddenly went away. We got this huge storm cloud outside. So, it's right there in S from subsisto, subsistere. Oh boy. And apparently the power's going out. I'm just going to go ahead and flip that off. Well, I don't know if that makes reading this easier or harder. Anyway, subsistens from this is a participle we know from the ns right there. It's going to be nominative, singular, masculine, and it is present, active participle. Okay, so I think that's everything that we need to go through with this. So go back to this here. Perfect God, and these are just declarative statements. Comma, perfect human man from, and then anima, this can mean breath, or it can mean life, or it can mean soul. And then we have rationale, so this is a thinking, a rational, a reasoned spirit, life, or breath. I'm going to go with, I think it's traditional to go with spirit for anima in this statement. But yeah, I like translating it breath, but we'll go with spirit. From spirit and human, earthly, and now it's raining. Flesh, subsistence. And it just means what it sounds like. Like standing up and just existing. Okay, so there is all that from verse 28. It is therefore the right faith that we believe and we confess that our Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, is God and man, begotten God from the substance of his Father before the ages, and man or human from the substance of Mary in the age of his birth. Perfect God, perfect man or human, from a rational spirit and human flesh subsisting. And there we go. And light has just been taken away from us. Thank you very much for joining me. Rather than recording the next video, I think I'm going to enjoy this thunderstorm. I hope that you have a very good day. Wale. door is bending in toward me. That's hilarious. And the rain's seeping around the edges now. And that's the sound of hail you hear.